AMC back here again. Haven't gotten all the spider webs in my face yet, but I do have a little bit more connected. I've got the furnace sitting as level as it's going to get on this old, nasty, gnarly concrete floor where the gravity furnace used to reside decades ago. You can still kind of see the circle pattern. Return drop attached and sealed. A little tape to throw around the seam yet on the top and sides. I've got the bottom sealed. Transition built on 3 sides of the supply air. I've got a little filler to add on the return air to fill that gap. But otherwise, for not having a square wall or anything to plumb off, it's not turning out too bad. This back corner I kept flush. So building the sides, that made it a little bit easier. It was just a 2.5 inch inset on the top. So you just build it like a house of cards, one sheet at a time. Slip them around, a little S-cleat on the corner for your overlapping seams. And then when you get around to the front, you've got a 1-inch bend in and another 1-inch bend in. You put an S-cleat on one side and you kind of float the other side, run some screws into it. And that's the inside view. So I'll get this finished off, buttoned up, our filter rack. I still got to get the plastic off that, but for now, we don't have power or gas yet. Power is still coiled up here. We'll repurpose the Romex, run that back down to a conduit. Gas, I've got that complete, waiting on a LP tank to show up. But otherwise, that's got pressure in it. I typically will leave the dirt leg out. We don't want to get more than 1/2 psi gas pressure on the electric device, or we could damage them. So typically, I'll do 2 to 5 psi on my supply, leave a pressure regulator outside so the propane company knows that it's leak-free, at least to this point. And if this valve does inadvertently get turned on in the interim, it is going to just dump out the dirt leg, or at least dump out the T without the dirt leg installed and not wreck my appliance. So they're scheduled for next week. Set a tank, and again, it's just 31 foot of straight pipe across the basement, out the wall, and regulator on the north wall. But we'll get the electric wrap today. Gas is done. Duct will be done today. Vent and intake. Those are just going to, this one's the intake side. This is a sealed combustion furnace. When you put the doors on, there's a gasket that goes around the front face. It's foam gasketed here to separate the house air from the burner air. I've already got the LP orifices installed. I've got the LP springs installed for low fire and high fire. I still have to set the final gas pressures on this thing once I get the fuel. Condensate drain. So that drain's going to come down, go out one of the plastic plugs, and then my floor drain is over here. So we'll run 3/4 inch Schedule 40 PVC down and across the floor for that. So if it gets stepped on, it's not going to get crushed like a vinyl hose would. And then intake, we're going to pipe that to the outside so we're not sucking this old dusty house air. And the vent pipe then, Schedule 40 PVC, that's just going to be 2-inch. We're close enough on distance, including our elbows, to run up. We'll attach to the floor joists with the plastic J-hook hangers. That'll run over. And back here where this old vent line and where the old fuel oil line came through this window, we'll trim this out, run my 2-inch PVC out through there, and make it up properly for our elevation above snowfall, expected snowfall. And I've got to turn the vent a little bit so that we're not blowing out underneath the window or recirculating the combustion back into the intake. Still plenty of spider webs to go around. These little critters are going to be real happy once I get heat back in the basement here. I don't know what's going on with these things, but definitely looks like a good makings for a Halloween episode. Life of a spider. I don't know how long they live, but apparently their kids take advantage of them. Not unlike what happens in our current society, but hopefully I don't wake up mummified and all wrapped up in webbing due to my children that are not vacated the home yet. Cool. Well, we'll get this oil tank drug around. We got some scrap steel to pull out, get that in the recycle dumpster. Same thing with the old oil furnace. Get that chucked in the metal dumpster and turn that into a, who knows what we'll turn it into next. Sell it to China for scrap so they can buy more of our stuff. Anyways, thanks for watching. And we'll get video showing this thing up and running once I get my utilities. Look for the previous videos. Leave a comment. Look like something you want to attempt yourself, or you have a similar basement like this. Electrical, here's where my line comes in, so I've got the hot and the neutral isolated. It is just a literal spider web of wiring that I don't want to get into dealing with, so we'll just isolate this so I can safely work on it. Once I get that all put back together, it'll be, well, definitely it's going to be safer than it was before I started. We're up on some 8-inch blocks, so if we do get a little flood in here, that's going to buy me a little bit of room before I end up wrecking the electronics. And these new furnaces, they have all the electronics stuck down in the lower compartment. So these things get wet and get energized, and you're going to have a problem. It is one of the new EC drive motors, so these things are pretty slick. They start out slow and then they'll rev up, and quite adjustable. We've got a little touchpad over here, some little push buttons, so we can set up the CFM that we're looking for both. Well, actually we can set up, I think, the CFM for just the fan on operation, for heating low, heating high, because this does have a 2-stage gas valve. I get low fire and high fire. And also this circuit board is set up for first stage and second stage air conditioning, which gives me 5 total different CFMs, or cubic feet per minute, velocity of airflow that we can move through the system. So in this old farmhouse, it's not really going to make much difference. We've got big, oversized, uninsulated, unsealed pipes. But for the newer homes, especially if you've got allergies, kids with allergies, you can go with the better quality air filters. Run the fan in a constant CFM mode, 500 CFM. Just keep the airflow moving around. The better quality air filters then will help filtrate the dust and the dirt out of your air streams and help keep a healthier home. It still depends on having fresh air in the home and proper air exchange too. So again, old drafty farmhouse. We're not worried about bringing fresh air in, but I am going to bring fresh air in for the combustion side. Thanks for watching.